The main topic of today is going to be about alts and how you can edge alpha into a portfolio. I want to get into an alt that I believe has way more upside potential than Ethereum. And if you're long on Ethereum, I feel like you're just, smooth braining it about how you could strategically position a portfolio around Ethereum's inevitable success if you have conviction on Ethereum. And I'm going to go into all of the nuances about this alt that, in my opinion, has insane potential in the future. I run a digital asset hedge fund called Bleeding Edge Capital. We are based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I have over a decade of software development experience, and I use that experience to underwrite these assets at the fundamental level and build up a thesis. Ground up approach. Very boring for most folks, but if you're looking for a more institutional level, traditional level approach to crypto, I'm your dude. Now, the altcoin I'm going to get into today, and more broadly, the strategy that I have used to make really good returns. This is all just my experiences and my opinions. This is not financial advice, ever. So, Ondo, I think is incredibly undervalued for what they are actually going to bring to the market. And here's why. First, let's go look at the market cap of Ondo. Fully diluted, 8.7, 2.7 there, and 4 billion is unlocked. So you got about half locked up. Here's a great breakdown of the token. The foundation or DAO, look at that. A lot of the team has a lot of vested interest in all of this doing very well. Ondo needs to go up for them to get a return on their project. That's actually good. I like seeing teams that are tied to the protocol. And we already have half of it, almost half of it unlocked, right? Here's the unlock schedule. This is what we're looking for. They look like steps or stairs. In this scenario, you are going to see they're going to unlock $1 billion worth at the current price every January at the first of the year. Could be really good opportunities to buy, right? When you look at the unlock schedules, this could be a big sell-off event. They even have a breakdown. I love what CoinMarketCap's doing. In general, the tokenomics honestly look really, really good, in my opinion. I don't like this low float setup, but I do like that the majority of the team is here for the long term. This number needs to go up for them to do well. So the incentives for the team are there. We like that. We have seen a 20 cent to $2 run up in its history. So it is already 10x. It's already seen $2 and it's trading at 80 cents. That's actually a really, really, really good thing, because if you were to enter right now, the market can already bear 150% return. Next to the tokenomics, it is still, if we look at it as a protocol in general, it is still very early. It's barely in the top 50 in less than a year. That's how much adoption. If I go to their website, they work with all of these, all of them. Goldman, BlackRock, Solana, Securitized, Jupiter, Ripple, Franklin Templeton. Some of the largest institutions in the world are bringing their assets on-chain through Ondo. That is exactly where Ondo plays. They are a real-world asset tokenization project. What they do is they apply the same framework for stablecoins, the exact same framework, to real-world assets. And you know what's like blowing my mind is that all these people get real sophisticated and start talking about how exactly assets are going to come on chain. Ondo is simply saying we're going to have wrappers, which there's a big debate. Everything should be on chain. Stocks should be like tokens. You should have governance. You should have all this stuff on chain. That is true in theory. It's good on paper. But in practice, with the DTCC and 12 other regulatory bodies that observe the entire market, it's just not possible. And there's already legislation for the wrapper architecture. Let's just go look at stablecoin growth. Okay, this is how they've done it. What they do is they wrap. Look at this. Here we go. DeFi Llama is a great tool, by the way, if you're ever looking for stuff. Stablecoins have doubled year over year. The Genius Act, the Clarity Act, that all is going to push stablecoins to the moon. And what Ondo is doing is creating the equivalent of stablecoins, but instead of dollars being at a bank, it's shares at a custodian. So they have the green light from a regulatory framework in America. They don't have the stamp of approval yet, but there is precedent for how they are building this stuff. So that's really important. They're on the side of the government. And that is why these large institutions are working with Ondo. And it's only valued. By the way, these names coming across your screen account for almost $20 trillion, and it is currently valued at $8.75 billion. Okay? Now, you have to think Ondo, okay, they do real world asset tokenization. They work with all these people. Great. The price, tokenomics, all good. In terms of how they do it, it seems to be a pretty solid setup from a fundamentals perspective. If you go to this podcast, and I'm sorry my computer's struggling so much right now. If you go to this podcast, you will listen to these two individuals who are part of the founders, and they are like big into the Ondo community. You will figure out exactly how all of this makes sense and goes into Ondo, and you'll see the kind of, I would say, vision they have. And I just want to take a little aside. Crypto is the only place where a guy like this is worth billions of dollars. I'm just going to put that out there. It's crazy. I love crypto so much. This guy, if you just listen to this podcast, you'll soon understand why Ondo is so well positioned for the future. Okay. Now, here's another thing we need to get into. There we go. Look at this. Look at this, guys. There was millions, and then out of nowhere, since 2021, we went from 20 billion. We've 10x'd in 4 years. That's more than double a year. And there's really no signs of that changing. Now, since Ondo is doing the exact same thing for shares instead of dollars, they're the only people doing it exactly like that. They're very smart for positioning themselves this way. Let's go look at Ethereum. How much value is locked on Ethereum? Because this is the strategy part where people genuinely make a lot of mistakes here. Ethereum is sitting at a 474 billion market cap compared to Ondo's 8. And if you're sitting here, like me, believing that Ethereum will be one of the largest settlement layers for institutional grade products and RWAs, Ondo is EVM. They literally are the platform for institutions to move assets onto Ethereum. The same way that Chainlink is a platform for the data, Ondo is the platform for all of the regulations and liquidity and custody and all that stuff. They are the platform for the other stuff that matters. So if you're expecting Ethereum right now eventually to put a T and multiple T's on chain, do you understand that Ondo and Chainlink both are right in the middle of that? So if you're expecting a 10x, let's say, in 5 years on Ethereum, and this is going to say 4.7 trillion, I would argue seeing a 100x in Chainlink or Ondo or a 50x is reasonable. Because how do you get to 5 trillion without real world assets, without bringing data onto Ethereum? You can't. That's my point. You actually can't. So if you're sitting here thinking, I want to build a portfolio that benefits completely from Ethereum's growth, and you're not including pivotal alts that have real fundamentals that are building up Ethereum, you are making a significant mistake. Because you're going to get all that growth in Ethereum, and it's going to be wonderful, but you're going to miss out on some amazing, amazing projects contributing to that. You just will. I mean, in the same time period, okay, Ethereum, let's just do 2023. Ethereum went from 1200 to 39, we'll call it 4K. That's roughly 330-ish%. Ondo in that same period, okay, so we only have until January of 24. It went from 22 cents to 80 cents. So it's at its peak, it 10x. So it did more than double Ethereum's performance. Probably the same exact, when did this peak? December of 24? Yeah, that's huge. We'll keep that date in our heads, right? So it's done the same as Ethereum in about a year and a half, but its peak around the same time as Ethereum, I'm betting. If I had to guess, take a look at this. So it literally did 330% at the same time Ondo had done 10x. Think about that. I mean, really think about that. I'm not saying everything should go into Ondo or everything should go into Chainlink. In fact, I'm saying concentration is actually usually a mistake people make. They get conviction about one thing and, they get, I would say, blinded, or they get tunnel vision. One or the other. And what ends up happening is they go deep into one thing. And honestly, you have enough risk in crypto. This industry is early. 99% of it's not going to make it. You have more than enough risk. You don't have to add risk to get more returns because you're so early still. You're still incredibly early. Like, we could, out of 4 trillion right now for the total market cap, 4 trillion. That's less than Nvidia, by the way, one company. That could easily be 100 to 200 trillion in the next, I would say, 20 years. If you are under, I would even say, be as bold to say 55. If you're under 55, why are you such in a hurry? This is the most incredible opportunity that we've had in markets since the internet. Really, it is. And I would say the same thing for AI. So if you're going long and you're long on Ethereum, so we're doing a full circle, y'all, adding alts that are well positioned to profit from Ethereum's success can be a way to increase alpha in your portfolio. So don't shy away from trying to go into the Ethereum ecosystem and identifying these integral components to Ethereum's success, right? These pictures behind me, the apes and all that, like, they're nice, but genuinely kind of just a trend, you know, a phase. What is not a trend is the amount of corporate treasuries coming on chain, the amount of assets that are coming on chain, the amount of data that Chainlink has to move on chain now, and the amount of people that need to go to Ondo for all of their help getting assets on chain. They are going to lead the charge in bringing tokenized stocks. Chainlink is already leading the charge in bringing tokens to traditional platforms. On my podcast, Bullish and Beyond, my partner and I talk about this a lot. The fact that Robinhood has tokens on there, it's only possible through Chainlink because of the price feeds. Robinhood does not know the price of Ethereum. It does not know the price of Solana. So how does it get the price to show it to you? It doesn't have the data of staking and liquidity pools and yield. It doesn't know any of that. Chainlink gets it from the blockchains and gives it to Robinhood. And Robinhood can take all of their stock data that Ethereum doesn't know and move it onto Ethereum. And Robinhood can make money on selling the stock price feed data. Chainlink makes money in that transaction, and Ethereum benefits because now people can build with stock price data, proliferating Chainlink's need for this oracle and creating a larger marketplace for that data. Do you see how it works? It's a network effect. Ondo has the same thing. If Ondo helps BlackRock and Goldman, guess what all of the second tier people are doing and third tier people are doing? They're calling Ondo. Hey, how do I get my money market fund on chain? How do I take these $500 million treasuries or $10 billion treasuries, get them on chain and offer a unique product? How do I give my clients access to DeFi and still not get sued or be thrown in jail? Because there's a lot of money being made. I don't know how to do it. Ondo's there. They're right in the middle of all of this. And same with Chainlink. And the same kind of analysis can be done on any ecosystem. If you're long on Solana, go start looking at the things that are an integral part of Solana's success. And go look at the market movers, the people that have dominance already. They're most likely to win long term. They just are. So really, really consider these decisions. They are potentially some of the biggest decisions you'll make if you're investing free. I spend a lot of time thinking about it. And hopefully this video is what really helped you think about it. Maybe it's a new perspective that allows you to just wake up a little bit and expand your allocation list a little bit. And honestly, another part of this is going to be, allocating less based on how risky the asset is. So as you go up in risk. So if the asset is smaller, newer, the team's undisclosed, like risk, lower your allocation. Maybe that's a 1% allocation because you're like, it's a flyer. If it hits, awesome. I'll pull my principal out, let the rest ride till I die or something like that. I mean, and that's generally how I play really small, micro caps or small caps in this space. And then you have most of the portfolio, if not all of it. I have 90+% in mid to large cap alts or Bitcoin. And that's generally how I've structured my fund. It's 33 assets, and a lot of them are based off this strategy. Picks and shovels. Who made the most in the gold rush? It's not the gold farmers. The guys that are risking their life across Native American territory to, 1 out of 100 maybe actually gets there, and then out of those 1 out of 100 actually strikes gold. It's tough, but I tell you who made a lot of money, people selling canvas for the wagons. People buying food wholesale. They're buying 6 months. They're not buying 6 days or 1 day. You got all of the people that were making brass to make the wheels to go in the carts, as an example, right? There's 20 little brass fittings for every wagon. And for every person that wants to go get gold, there's a lot of wagons that don't make it. There's a lot of people that try to get gold and fail. A lot more failures than successes. Guess what? Every single success and failure had to buy shovels and sifters and buckets, and the list goes on. As detailed as possible, identify the picks and shovels, and only buy the picks and shovels in ecosystems or layer ones that you have long-term conviction on. That's my opinion. That's what I'm doing. Hit that subscribe button if you want to follow along as I build this hedge fund into one of the largest hedge funds in the world, focusing exclusively on crypto. I appreciate all of you. Until next time, peace and love. Take care of one another.